International media in the wartime are spreading really harmful misinformation about transgender rights in Ukraine. Kyiv Pride wants to explain why it is really harmful and colonial and what actually happens with trans rights in our country. I, Edward Rees, project assistant for Kyiv Pride, am a trans person myself, and I went through many steps of the transition process in Ukraine, and I know what I'm talking about. Since 2016, Ukraine has a modern protocol of transition, which is working according to IDC 10. In short, this protocol contains following steps. First, a person has to go to general practitioner or family doctor to get a forwarding to the endocrinologist and psychiatrist. The next step is psychiatric validation of transness. You have to go to a psychiatric state hospital and get several consultations with a psychiatrist. After those several consultations, which last usually around 2 weeks, you will be receiving a diagnosis which is called F640 and is usually described as transsexualism. With this diagnosis, you can get your medical treatment, which is hormone replacement therapy and or surgeries. In Ukraine, trans people are not obliged to have any surgeries or irreversible medical treatment. HRT is totally okay to get your documents changed. So, when a trans person has their certificates about F640 and HRT or surgeries, they go to the general practitioner again, who gives them a certificate to change their name in the documents and the gender marker as well. So in fact, in Ukraine, a trans person can change their documents. It can be a long process, but it's not impossible, and it's actually quite simple in comparison to other countries. And when international media start posting several particular stories of Ukrainian refugees, telling from these stories that Ukraine is deeply transphobic and that Ukraine has no human rights and that in Ukraine trans people have to undergo surgeries or spend months in a mental institution, they create a disfigured and untrue image of the country which defends itself in this war. So, spreading lies that Ukraine is a hell for minorities is really not helpful for any of these minorities. If you want to speak to queer Ukrainians, please speak to us and try to listen to us. Please stop creating a colonial narrative that you or any other country know better about Ukraine than Ukrainians.